Over to you, Abidemi.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Philip, and it's so great to be on this section today. Yes, I'm trying to share my screen, so I don't know if you could just permit me to do that so that I can share my presentation slides.
Should be able to do that now.
Okay, all right, fantastic.
What's happening? Are you still unable to share?
Yes,
I think I've given you permission to share. Can you try it again?
okay, all right, sir.
Still the same thing?
Yes, still the same thing.
What error are you getting?
I'm just not being able to access it anymore, so I don't know. So I think I will just share the presentation slides with you on WhatsApp now so that you can load it from your
No,
end.
you
I
should
think
you should
I'm not
actually
much
be
waste
able
our
to
time.
you should be able to share now. Can you try it again?
I'm trying. Yes, I'm trying. I'm trying. As I speak, I'm trying.
If it's not working, you can send it to me so that we can maximize the time for today.
I'm still working on it from here. So if I'm not able to do it for the last time, so I'll just forward it to you on WhatsApp then. Yeah, it's not working too. So I will just forward it to you on WhatsApp then.
That's strange. Yeah, send it to me.
Okay. So have you seen it?
Not yet. You send it to my WhatsApp, right?
Yes.
I've not. Yeah, I have it now.
All right.
All right. Can you see the screen that I'm sharing? Can you
From my
confirm
side?
that? Can you confirm that you can see the screen?
Not yet.
Can anybody see what I'm sharing?
So is there anyone who can confirm that the
Yes, I can see
now
the screen from
actually?
here. I can.
Y- Yes. I think people have confirmed that they can see what I'm sharing. So you can't see what I'm sharing yet.
Honestly, it's just so strange. I think I should just sign out of Zoom then join. Please, apologies for this. I will just sign out and rejoin. Perhaps the error would have been resolved by that time. So let me just leave and then rejoin the meeting.
All right. Apologies for the technical glitches. So I'll wait for our guest speaker for today. We can just have a quick icebreaker. So what do you look forward to learning from today, from the topic from today, or why do you decide to join any of the research webinar series? You can put it in the chat while we wait for the guest speaker. Why are you here today? What do you look forward to, learning in the course of the 5 Saturday research webinar series? Thank you for those that have participated in answering the question. You can also add your own response. Interesting. So the question I asked was, why are you here today? What do you look forward to learning at the end of today's session? So you can put your response in the chat. Yeah. Abidemi. Abidemi, can you confirm that you are with us now?
Yes, 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 yes.
Can you see my screen?
With you. Yes, of course, I can.
Can you try to share from your end? Let's see if that's has been resolved as well. I think that will make it easy for you to navigate.
Yes, I will keep trying, but because of our time, I don't just want to dig into it while still presenting the section. Yes, I will still be, working on trying to reshare the screen. It is possible to do that from here.
Can you quickly
So
do
I
that
just want
before we?
to.
Can you quickly do that?
Okay, okay,
If you find any challenging, are you still finding it challenging?
yes. Still the same.
All right. So confirm that you can see my screen, and then we start with that. So you tell me when I need to move to the next
Okay,
one.
okay. I just want to give you the final trial, though, if I may. I'll just give you the final trial from here. So apologies to everyone joining, please. It's just quite unusual, but then here we are. So sorry for this delay. So what I'm trying to do in essence is just to switch my gadgets. So I'm switching to another PC now. I just want to
Okay.
see if anything's wrong with the one I'm connecting from. So I'm doing that right away.
Okay. Thanks to everyone for participating in the icebreaker. I see that quite a number of people are interested in shaping their research skills, knowing how to go about literature review, academic writing. Yeah, and I see someone talking about grad school. Yes, that's most important part of what you will be doing in grad school, especially if you are going for a thesis-based program, writing, academic writing, writing proposal, writing thesis, writing papers, and all of that. Those are each part of what you need to be doing, what you need to do, and I think you're in the appropriate space today to try to know some of the things that you will need to know. And I urge you to stick with us for the next 5 Saturdays and not just take it from the literature review perspective alone. Perhaps there is more to research writing or academic research writing than just literature review. And I will also challenge you that at the end of today's session, you can try to apply some of the things you'll be learning into. You can bring it into a kind of an application where you probably want to write a thorough literature review. If you are currently not writing your project, you may think of something you want to write about in your field that you think you can publish. I think that might be a very important goal for you to apply whatever you'll be learning from this moment to the end of this program. If you are here today and you have interest in writing something within the energy field and you think you need someone to hold you accountable, you can reach out to me and we see what we can do together as well. So Abidemi, any luck? Abidemi, just for the delay. Apologies once again for keeping you waiting. We are almost done resolving the issue from our guest speaker's end. So it will be starting soon. While we are still waiting, you can comment in the chat where are you joining from today and in what discipline or what area of research or what are your research interests? Where are you joining today and what are your research interests? Probably you can get someone from here that you can connect with and do some interesting work together. Where are you joining us from today and what are your research interests? You can comment in the chat box. Yeah, Abidemi, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Yeah, so let's just go ahead. I will be uh operating the slide for you
Oh,
from my side. So
okay.
all right, over to you.
All right. Thank you so much. Like once again, I sincerely apologize.
You are muted. Abidemi,
Um,
we lost you at some point. What's happening?
However, now can you hear me clearly, please?
Yeah. Can you confirm if you can hear him now?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Can anybody confirm that they can hear Abidemi?
Yeah, we can hear.
All right.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear him.
All right, you can go ahead. Abidemi, can you go ahead? Abidemi. Abidemi, are you still with us?
So I will just step into it, sir. And the objectives of this section is are listed here to understand what the literature review is and what it is not, to lay a solid foundation for your review, to master the skills of synthesizing literature, and to also get to know the types of literature reviews to use, the structures, and the practical tools as well to employ while doing our literature review. And furthermore, the common mistakes and myths to be avoided during the process of the review. So, can you just move on to the next slide? All right. I want us to take a look at this particular picture on our screen. If you can see it, do you all understand the humor there, the pun there? I don't really. Is anyone want to just say one or two things about this particular picture displayed on the screen before we move on? Is there anyone? If you want to say something, you can just use the raise hand feature so that Dr. Philip can unmute you and then you can speak. All right, all right. I see if Oluwayemi say yes. Oluwayemi, please go ahead.
Yes, I think you just tell us what literature review is all about. So copying from one paper means plagiarism. So that is not literature review. And when you say literature review, it means that you are copying from several papers. Thank you.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much for that. Yes, copying from one paper is equal to, I mean, that's the standard one to plagiarism. Yeah, copying from several papers means you are reviewing literature. Yeah, copying from 100 papers, Jerry Bosman's groundbreaking research. That is just one of the irony in academia, I know, when it comes to academic writing. However, I beg to differ on the aspect of copying, so to say now. So you will get to know the reason why I say I beg to differ based on this particular post by this particular Twitter user, X user, Alex Oluwatobi. So let's move on, Mr. Philip. Doctor, next slide, please. All right, fantastic. Now, so what is literature review? What does it mean when we say something about literature review? What does it mean? So, number one, we see that literature review is just like a critical evaluation of scholarly works. Like that's the you are reviewing several works written regarding your particular field and all that. Now, and to say this, by the way, I want to highlight that at that stage in our academic life, whether as an undergraduate, I don't know if we have undergraduates in this meeting tonight, whether at the postgraduate level, whether for your PhD proposal, or whatever stage you are at every point in time, you also have to make use of literature review because it's so key to understanding whatever you've done so far regarding your study. And by implication of that, then what then is the essence? Why is it so important for us to do literature review and for us to get literature review right? Now, this and many more are what we will be doing along the line now. So, Mr. Philip, I want to try this particular thing again. So I don't know whether you can stop sharing so that I can share from my end because I want to make use of my screen too. Doctor, are you with me?
Can you try sharing now?
Yes, 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 yes. I think it's been resolved now. So
I can't see what you are
so can
sharing
you see my
yet.
screen now?
No, I can't see your screen. Can anybody see your screen?
We can't see the screen. Can it just continue like
All
the
right.
way we are doing it before?
I think you should continue using mine. Oh, yeah, so it's popping up now.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yes, perfect.
All right then. All right then. I just set onto it, then continue from there now. So, like I mentioned earlier, let me just navigate down to where I need to make use of this.
think because of time, you want to continue with mine because we are already behind schedule.
Okay, so how about now? I believe.
Yes, you can see now.
All right then. All right, great then. So let me just go straight to yeah. So this is what we have now. Now, literature review just means like a critical evaluation of scholarly work that is what have previously been written on your chosen field. Now, if I want to move now, I just want to ask a simple question here now, and I believe that we all have a particular goal. Before I logged us few minutes ago that I could see that there are several goals, there are several reasons why people join this particular meeting tonight. Why some want to use the research for their PhD proposal for grad school, others want to use it as part of the requirements in order to earn their current degree, and others are just here for knowledge sake, irrespective of the category you are now. So, what does literature review? What does it really mean now? Now, it's just like uh, a synthetic analysis. Yes, let me put it that way. A synthetic analysis, and as you are going on, you see why I call it a synthetic analysis. Now, it's more or less like you're trying to gather from the picture shared earlier, from this particular picture, like okay, we're copying from several papers is literature review, or copying from 100 papers is called to or is means or it means groundbreaking research now. So what does that mean now? It means that regardless of our chosen field, whether we are in the gender for mine now, I'm happens to be I have a background in English studies, literature, then I'm diving into the aspect of gender studies and conflicts now. So regardless of the background, whether we're from mathematics, mechanical engineering, whatsoever field that we've actually chosen, whatever field that we are actually planning to work on or that we are even in working on at the moment now. One thing that is quite important is for us to first and foremost understand that regardless of the topic we've chosen, whether for our PhD proposal, whether we want to write a grant, a research grant, whether for our undergraduate thesis, there are hundreds of articles, there are hundreds of works that have been published related to our study. So by this particular meaning, it just means that it is then a synthesis of this argument. It is just like a collection of everything, not everything by the way, of the relevant things that are relevant to our study, that are relevant to our proposed topic now. So also, it doesn't mean that it's just a bullet point summary of activities or articles. It doesn't mean that okay, from article A, I just move to Google and then search. Oh, I want to research gender and conflict. Then every article that pops up on my screen, I just have to review them. No, this is not what literature review means. Now, it's more or less like a you are evaluating what others have written related to your particular work. And that's actually what makes it literature and review because you are bringing in literature. From the definition of literature at the foregoing now, literature just means a body of collection was written in black and white. That's just a simple definition of literature now. And by being written in black and white, it means that whether we are reviewing articles in print or online, we are still dealing with that as literature. And review means a critical analysis of a particular stuff. So in this particular case, now when we combine the two together, we have what we call literature review. So let's move on because of our time. Now, why do we want to do a literature review? Number one, we do a literature review just because of our research topic. I know some of us have beautiful research topics to be considered. Some of us have even gone ahead to propose this particular study to our supervisor, and our supervisor has actually approved. For those people in the Nigerian setting now, I wouldn't know what works outside the country, but for the Nigerian context now, we propose the topic, and our supervisor has approved the topic now. But one thing that we need to understand is that whether we come across this particular topic by inspiration, whether we come across it based on something that supervisor has said in times past in the class, or just based on our interest. One of the reasons why you need to do a literature review and for you to is that you must understand the fact that okay, this particular topic that you were working on, has someone not worked or done something similar to that in times past. So are we pause now? Like for instance, now if you are working on issue related to gender and Boko Haram now, I know that there are several studies, yes, written on okay, what are the effects of terrorism on the girl child in conflict affected regions in Africa or let me be particular now in Nigeria, particularly the northeastern part of Nigeria. So it won't all go away if you go on Google now and search something similar to that. I know you'll find tons of articles related to that, effect of the terrorism, effect of Boko Haram militancy, effect of what have you on the girl child.
So the reason why I must then do or conduct a critical literature review is so that I won't just be imagine something someone has done before, then I'm coming back from behind to still repeat the same process. Now I'm not filling a particular gap. I'm not filling any gap. By so doing, I'm not filling any gap. I'm not doing anything. I'm not even contributing to the body of knowledge because something has been done regarding that. Except we change or we understand this literature review, then we more be like what others have. Imagine we going to the field now to clear a particular land, and then we see bush or weeds all around the particular land where we are to clear. Someone has already come in. In fact, the person brought a bulldozer to clear the particular area. And then because the person has done a critical work, so to say, maybe a good or a very fantastic job at that. Now we also decide to bring a bulldozer to clear that particular piece again. Now we are just doing what we call we are just shooting in the dark. We are not shooting right on, or we are not hitting the bullseyes now. So by conducting or by using engaging in literature review, we'll be able to know the gaps, that specific area that the authors or the scholars have not been able to explore during the process of clearing that particular piece of land. Then we have what we call literature review. To furthermore, and like I mentioned earlier, to also with our feed. Oh, this is your feed. What have others done in times past regarding this particular feed? What has been done? What has been said? This is why it's a crucial aspect of research grants and even for our proposal. Because our supervisor for graduate for individual working towards graduate school application and all that, our supervisor must be able to know that okay, this particular research that you're embarking on, it is filling a gap. It is building a particular theory, or it is actually contributing to the body of knowledge such that has never been seen in times past. So this is the reason why we are conducting a literature review, and this is why we must master literature review. So moving on now. So what are the types of literature reviews, and what are their research goals now? Now the first one is more or less like what we call the narrative or the traditional literature review. And what does that mean? It's more or less like the typical aspect that we make use of in Nigerian context. Now, in Nigerian academy, what we do mostly is the general summary and interpretation of whatever we are trying to do because it's the most common. In fact, not even in the Nigerian context now, in most fields, even outside the country, it is the most common form of literature review because it is just narrative, it is traditional, and along the course of this particular study, I also employ the course of in the examples I will be giving the narrative or the traditional aspects. So the second one is the systematic because for the systematic, it's more or less like you have a predefined criteria, you have like an excluding criteria. Then for also we have another one we call the scoping, just to enhance or just to engage in what we call the research, the key themes. You are looking at a particular study and you decide to do a scoping review of your study. Now, what you tend to do is just to gather the literature, the articles, the contributions, the scholarly work related to that particular study. Then you decide to map it out in themes. Oh, this particular study this with dead child, this one this with the effect of terrorism on the girl child, this with effect of terrorism on girl child's education, this with effect of girl child terrorism on girl child's mental health, and so on and so forth. So that's actually what scoping analysis or scoping review what it gets into. Then the other one is all about meta analysis. This one this with statistical analysis too. Yes, because a meta analysis kind of review or a framework we
Mr.
employ the statistics,
Abidemi,
the use of statistics as they are trying to do it too. So we also have what we call meta synthesis, and the final one here is the theoretical framework. And in most studies, actually, I don't
Abidemi,
know, but yes,
Abidemi.
sir.
I think your slide is static.
Really? How about now?
It's still static. It's on the Twitter.
It's on the Twitter.
Yeah, the Twitter slide.
Wow. How about now?
Yeah, it's moving now.
Okay, okay, okay.
Sorry about that.
No problem, no problem. So I just want us to move down to the Nigerian style of literature review. Can you all see my screen? If you can, please let me know. I'm on to the next slide, Nigerian style of writing literature review. Dr. Philip?
Yeah, I can see. Can
Oh,
any other person confirm that they can see this light moving now?
Yeah, we can
Yes,
see.
yes, we
yes.
can
Please,
see.
can you just show us previous screen that you explained before?
Oh,
Previous
sorry
slide.
about that. Let me just quickly do
I
that
just
now.
screenshot it.
This is
Yes.
Ivana. This is what is a literature review. Can you see the screen now? Is the screen moving?
No. It's still on the
No.
Nigerian style of writing literature review.
Okay, I think I know where the issue lies then. What about now?
Yes, it's moving now.
Okay, so this is the first claim when I explain what literature review is. That's a critical evaluation of scholarly works and so on and so forth. What literature review is and what literature review is not. Then I moved away from here to why do we do a literature review, and to justify research topic that I mentioned earlier, to demonstrate our familiarity with a particular field, identifying gap and all. Then to the types of literature reviews, where I mentioned narrative or traditional, systematic, scoping, meta-analysis, theoretical review, and so on. Then I'm now on to the next trend, which is Nigerian style of writing literature review. So for the Nigerian style of writing literature review, it's just divided into four key components. And I believe that the Nigerian style of writing is what we call the traditional or the common one, because it just focuses on four key components now. The first one is what we call the conceptual review. The conceptual review just tries to review several concepts. Like for instance, now you trying to look at. I really know. Can anyone suggest a particular topic? Maybe we should just type what we want to propose topic or our proposed research interest, so that we will be able to make use of critical and live examples here. If you can just type it here, and Dr. Philip, please do me the favor of, if you've been able to get one, so that we can make use of it during the course of this particular class
I think
tonight.
yeah,
So for the first one, yes, what do you say?
some people already mentioned theirs when I asked them to. So we have someone interested in machine learning, cybersecurity, and AI research. I think those are still kind of related. So if you want to take
Okay.
any of those, machine learning or cybersecurity and AI research,
Machine learning and
environmental
cybersecurity
science.
and AI research. Now,
Yeah.
fantastic, sir. Now, for in reviewing this particular topic now, in doing a conceptual review of this particular topic, machine learning and AI research and all. So, how do I go back to my screen? All right. So, what do we need to do in order to first and foremost demonstrate our interest? Maybe we hold that, and then we will keep that in mind. So, when I get to the practical examples, then I will be sharing what to do regarding that now. So, the first point we need to do is to conceptual review, is to conceptualize our study, because our studies are built upon concepts, and concepts form a critical part of our literature review. What are the key concepts of our study? Now, for instance, the individual working on machine learning and cybersecurity and AI research now, number one, machine learning happens to be one of the key concepts that we are going to be reviewing. Then, and the other additional part is what we call cybersecurity. Then the other aspect has to be the artificial intelligence. And when we are reviewing what all of these concepts are, don't just assume that okay, the individual that you are writing to, they know or they have a key understanding of whatever you are doing. So you feel like, oh, this particular thing is a general knowledge, is a common knowledge now. You'll be surprised that as you are going about even researching or finding literature that are relevant to artificial intelligence, you'll be shocked at the level or the depth of knowledge on artificial intelligence alone. And by you bringing it into form, bringing it into your own study now, you are trying to synthesize it. By synthesizing, you are not just trying to say, okay, Adebayo define artificial intelligence as any form of program that is capable of performing human instructions or that can imitate human life. No, that's not actually what you are doing alone. By reviewing it, that means that you are giving us the meaning. You are also reviewing it to identify fault or gap in that particular definition. And one of the key ways of for those of us that are interested in the academia, one of the key ways of improving our citation online is to first and foremost review the concept, the definition of this concept. When you are reviewing concepts, you are trying to bring, okay, what does part A, how does part A define artificial intelligence? How did part B define artificial intelligence? Now, when you now bring these particular definitions together, you're not trying to bring, okay, but this party A definition is not all encompassing. This party to my own to include the an encompassing definition of what artificial intelligence is. Now, when you now upload your, possibly when you eventually publish your work now, people are not interested in, okay, what others have written in 1999 on artificial intelligence. Scholars are not really interested. Maybe when they are performing a kind of a historical trajectory of what artificial intelligence is. So, but what they are actually after is the recent definition of artificial intelligence. In 1999, we don't have Claude AI, we don't have the likes of Spark AI, we don't have ChatGPT, we don't have the host of other artificial intelligence platform now. all these LLMs and all. So what have been the interesting one? What have people said in recent time regarding artificial intelligence? So we don't need to rely on 1999 one. We need a modern one. We need, because it's also an emerging field. It's an emerging field because people are still researching into it. So we do what we call conceptual review. We have also what we call theoretical review. And in theoretical review, these are there are four key areas to do when you are trying to review a particular theory. You know, I put here frameworks like feminism, constructivism. These are theories that are relevant to my field, kind of. So what I need to do is first and foremost, who is the propounder or the proponent of that particular theory that I'm trying to review? Who propounded it? That's the first one that I need to bear in mind. Then the second point will be what are the key tenets? That is, what are the key features of that particular theory? That is the second one. Then the third one will not be okay. What are the key element? How does that particular study? How does it align with my own study? I'm trying to look at machine learning and cyber security and now, and I'm trying to make use of feminism. In what way is feminism related? Feminism deals with issue related with gender. Let me just put it broadly now. So how does it relate with machine learning and cyber security and AI? If there is no reason why you are making use of it, then there is no point in using that particular theory. That means that we need to make use of another theory relevant to our work. And in so doing, the essence of now carrying out this thing is that okay, the other studies that you are trying to review, what theories are they employed? Then empirical review is just so funny and so beautiful at the same time now because you are trying to look at okay, this particular year from so year. In fact, and one of my professors will tell me that okay, if you want to give me an empirical review, and I know of some universities in Nigeria that their empirical review want to conduct anything on literature review, your scholarly citation, except on rare instances, will definitely be within articles or scholarly works published within the last 5 years, that is from 2020 to 2025. If you supply the one published in 2019, they consider it as invalid, obsolete. This is why it is also important because you want to know the emerging trends in that particular study that you are carrying out. So I know your Lead City University that they make use of that particular trend. Yes, and I know of some other universities where my own lecturer will say, okay, articles are published within the last 10 years, except if the reason why you have to make use of something published in 1990s and so on is just because of the theory. And even by so doing, she will go on to ask us that, oh, this particular theory you are using, does that mean that no one has done something similar to that and trying to review or remodify the whole process in recent times? So these are the reasons, these are the loopholes we must just so consider when we are planning our literature review. And finally, summary of gaps, because the essence of your literature review is to identify gaps. In fact, there are two key scholarly opinions to identifying gaps. Some people believe that your gap must be identified before you start your re-study. That is, conduct a literature review first before you start your study, so as to know that okay, this is the gap my study intends to fill. Why some people believe that no, you don't need to do that. You can pick up your topic, try to look at it. Then, as you are going, you can realign your research question and objectives according to the gaps that you have actually identified. Well, I believe and also align with the first group school of thought regarding what the gaps and conducting literature review before starting the work. Because when you conduct your literature review, you'll be able to identify gaps, and your gaps can be methodological. It can be that okay, I made reference to the fact that sorry, the individual who mentioned machine learning and cybersecurity and AI, because just a general field, it is too broad. So I can't delve into that. It is a broader topic that it has to be streamlined. So I can't delve into that. I will just make use of the effect of terrorism on the girl child in northeastern Nigeria. So by doing that now, I need to know, okay, quantitative research methodology. The previous study employed quantitative research methodology, so they did not employ qualitative. So quantitative has a loophole. So let me employ quantitative and qualitative, and that's the methodological gap that I have found out. And that gap is enough to ensure that okay, the study that I want to publish will fill a particular gap and it will contribute to the knowledge. Because clearly, for research methodology, we have
Have
three
you
key
changed
aspects.
slide?
We have the quantitative
Abidemi,
analysis, we have the
Abidemi,
qualitative analysis, and
have you
the
changed your slide?
method. No, I've not changed my slide. I'm still on summary of gas and appraiser. So these are just
No.
the general way. These are the
Okay.
four key components of the Nigerian style of writing literature review. Then moving away from here, then okay, so now move to how do we now lay the foundation? So the first foundation is maybe you've identified a particular interest that you picked. Oh, your interest is into machine learning, your interest is into gender studies, your interest is into issues affecting the street children in Nigeria, whatever your interest is, this is actually a very fantastic area. But now you need to now to narrow it down. By narrowing it down, I can't just research into, like I mentioned earlier, I can't research into machine learning. I want to conduct a literature review and I'm searching for machine learning and cybersecurity and here. No, that field is too broad. So what I would just to do is that okay, what is actually my main aim of this particular research? Is it that the machine learning or the cybersecurity and AI, this particular aspect? What aspect? Is it that the use of artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, or machine learning by gender? That because I mentioned the fact that I'm gender inclined and all that. Based on their gender role, based on the role gender is playing, based on gender discrimination, based on this use of this gadget and so on and so forth. Now, so by streamlining it, I'll be able to understand that okay, this is actually what I need to do. So this is what I will do. I don't know whether you're getting something here. So moving away from here, you just have to narrow your topic before delving into it. Whether the topic you have started to research into it and all that now. So it's expected of you to first and foremost, because at a particular point, if you do not, you would have you would definitely waste your time. Let me just put it bluntly there. You would waste your time if you have started writing your chapter one, you've gone on ahead, your supervisor has even approved it, blah blah blah, and all that and all that. And your research won't just fill a particular gap, and it won't be relevant. In fact, you may even skip that. Your supervisor may not even notice it if you're in a Nigerian context and all that. And just like, okay, let's just allow the boy to go or the girl to go and all that. Now. But in the real sense of it now, you're just wasted precious time that you should have used to settle for something meaningful and something very important as such. So this is why it's just so important for you to review your study, identify the gap first. Is it the aspect of methodological gap? Is it the aspect of population gap? Whatever gap it is, then you will now streamline your own topic and your objective to fill that particular gap. That is what the essence, and like I mentioned earlier, the essence of the one of the importance of literature review. Then moving on away from here, we can also use the search strategy. For instance, now I want to work on this aspect of artificial intelligence that the individual that supplied us the meaning of the artificial intelligence. Now I want to work on artificial intelligence. Now I now need to understand that okay, artificial intelligence. This is the use of the Boolean operators. Boolean operators are mostly used in search engines. So I need to add, okay, and I want to use and look at artificial intelligence in the Nigerian context. And I will put an Nigerian aspect. Okay, let's just do a quick one now. Let me just go back to my screen and share my one of my tab in Chrome so that we can conduct this particular experiment for you to understand the difference between these. Let me share my Chrome tab, one of my Chrome tab here. Okay, so I have it there already. So now I want to carry out a particular one, and let's see. I'm on to Google now, and I want to look at the difference between artificial intelligence, use of Boolean operator, and how it will further enhance our homework and all that. Now. So this is my Google space and all that now, and I want to search for artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, yeah. So I'm searching for it now. So, all right, I found several issues of artificial intelligence and all that, and it's not quite relevant to what I'm actually looking at now because I'm not looking at blog posts. I want to look at scholarly articles, something people have written on it in Nigeria. So, what do I need to use is to put plus or to put and in case let's just say plus Nigeria plus scholarly articles. So this will change the whole aspect now. Can we all see it now? Paper one, artificial intelligence in Nigeria, challenges and opportunities. Artificial intelligence in Nigeria, a catalyst for economic growth. Artificial intelligence and its effect on Nigeria. So everything, the search engine is returning back to me just centers on artificial intelligence in Nigeria. So because I'm trying to localize it, I'm trying to contextualize it here. And in this particular case as well, or this particular scenario as well, then it will return feature related to artificial intelligence in Nigeria because this is where I also want to situate my study. I want to look at what is the contribution or what are the contributions of scholars scholars to this particular field in Nigerian contemporary society. So I'm moving away from here to going back to reshare my screen on okay, yeah, so here we are again on that. So moving away from here, and okay, after how do we then access database? Because some of us, maybe our question may be okay. My supervisor has approved my topic, but then I can't find relevant study related to it and all that. Now, well, we've all been in that same shoe before, but then the reason why two individuals can make use of Google, and the Google will be returning different search items to them. It's just based on all of these operators here. The Boolean operators can redefine your entire search. And part of that is that how do you then want to use it? You can make use of JSTOR, you can make use of Scopus, you can make use of Google Scholar. And in addition to that, now there are relevant search items. I will send this in, and the relevant search engines now, AI powered search engine that will return your study to you, whatever is related to it. One of the ones I make use of is what we call elicit.com. Let me try to see so that you see how elicit is being used and employed here. Elicit.com, we have heuristics, we have Skypace, connected papers, research rabbits, a whole lot of them like that now. So let me just try to demonstrate how elicit works too. Okay, so I'm going to elicit. Just go to your Google, your tab here, click on elicit.com. Sign in. Because I've signed in already, I make use of it quite often. So once it's successfully loaded, you'll be able to have access to it. Then I'll be able to demonstrate that instead of using, in fact, Google nowadays now, I don't mean it is not really reliable because we have so much of AI powered platform that we can just make use of in order to narrate our search. And aside from Elicit as well, we have several AI
Mm,
powered platform that we can use
I'm
to
still
ensure that
seeing
our
your
research
I'm seeing
papers,
your
the papers that
Google
we are intending to look at, the areas that we are trying to
Abidemi.
review. Yes,
Abidemi.
sir.
I'm seeing your Google space. I don't know if you are sharing
Yeah,
any.
I believe that that's actually the network here. So I'll just chill a bit before. Let me just move on because of the network issue. It's just the network trying to reload and all. So
So you
it's
are
just
sharing
giving
something
me
else. You are sharing something else now apart from the your Google Chrome space.
no. Yes. Elicit, that's actually what I'm trying to share now. But if
Okay.
it's not going, because the network is not just networking here, so I will just let it be. Then share the website to us so that we can take a look at it in our free time. Yes, maybe after the section we can review it. It will definitely help us a great deal. I'm typing it now. I'm typing them in now. So what we do is heuristic. You can check them out. It will help and enhance your work a great deal. lc.com, Skyspace. Then this one is typeset.io. What it does is that it's more or less like a combined Google plus AI in action. That's actually what all of these spaces that I'm trying to send here, that's what they do. Google plus AI in action. It gives us a fantastic result at the end of it. I would have loved to make use of helices so as to explain my point. And we would definitely be marveled at what they could do. So I've sent it. It just these are the six most commonly ones that I make use of because they are just common. Then heuristic is more or less like mind mapping. You don't know the kind of concept you want to use. I'm just so it's not giving. Elicit is not going. Let me try if heuristics is um if heuristics will work. No, if it's not going to work, oh, let me see if this works well. So, all right, I don't think, I think the network is actually giving me challenges. So, I'll just go straight and stop sharing that so I can move on and all. So, all right, let's just move away from here then into other aspect and all. So, from here, I move into this point again. So, we move into organize sources, I believe that there is actually a section here. I think the last section or second to the last section of this particular research webinar series on referencing style. So I won't delve into that. But then one of the things that I would personally encourage is for you to be present for organizing sources using Zotero or Mendeley. That will change or enhance your work. So you won't be delving into the traditional aspect now. So I encourage you to be there now. Because of our time, I won't go into it now. Now, organizing your literature matrix. Now, what do you mean by that? Now, I call this electronic summary of table of literature review. I call it a stall. I call it literature matrix now. And what do we do now? Because sometimes if you do our literature review well, in fact, one of my professors, one of those people that I always esteem in research and all that now, we tell us that okay, we want to conduct your for master's dissertation, you should prepare to review at least 200 articles, 200 scholarly articles on whatever your studies. And he said that if you've done your literature review well, because it's time enormous, it is all encompassing to stretch you at the goal and all that now. He said that once you have done with it, then you are rest assured that when you are discussing your findings in chapter 4, you won't have an issue. Why? Because you've already done, you know what is obtainable and all that. Now. So let's take for instance now, I want to organize my sources, I want to organize my literature. I'm trying to carry out the literature review and all that, and I'm reading, I've narrowed down my search and all that. I'm looking at issues related to gender and all that now. So I need to just to create a table, but for those of us that are kind of familiar with how to use Excel, we can do this on Excel. We can also create a table on our system. So create a table, and on that particular table, use your tongue, year, title of that particular text or that particular scholarly work, then the methodology employed, the key findings. And one of the things is just like so certain that an LC is not opening. I could have used LC. What I do is that for a particular result that I've seen and that it matches my own criteria by okay, published by a notable journal and all that. And what I do is just to ask LC to do a brief review to give me the abstract. From the abstract, I will extract all of this here: the author, the year it was published, the title of the article, the methodology employed, the key findings, and then the relevance too. Somehow, I will explore the question too, or the gap, or the recommendation, because from the recommendation, you can also generate your gap. Because, oh, I'm recommending based on the fact that I have done so, but then there's still, okay, for the analogy I made use of earlier about the aspect of clearing a piece of land or a parcel of land with a bulldozer. So, okay, I have cleared from point A to point B, but along the point of clearing point B to point C, my tractor broke down. And by that, I was not able to implement what I was able to, what I should have implemented. So I'm suggesting that the next person that will take over this particular work to concentrate from point B to point C, because though I did it, but I didn't explore it clearly. That's the aspect of recommendation. And when you take a look at it, you won't spend hours reading from chapter one, they're reading articles and all that now, because you have tons of articles. Like I mentioned earlier, what I'm doing is just that at least I'm reviewing 100 for my master's dissertation now. At least that's it. I'm still on to it now and I'm still reading as it goes. So I don't have the time because the time is not on my side. So I don't need to read virtually thousands of pages of script, so to say. So what I need to do is just to go to abstract, from abstract, take a look at the introduction, take a look at the discussion, the methodology employed, take a look at the discussion of findings, and take a look at the conclusion and recommendation. From that point, I've covered in maybe in 15-30 minutes in what should have taken me, what should have took me rather 3 hours or thereabout, depending on our reading speed and all. So moving away from here, I move to synthesis versus summary. How do we review? Now, what some of us do, or what some of us have been trained to do. In fact, myself, I was trained to do what we call summary, calling that literature review. And I realized that when I went through my undergraduate long essay, I found out that oh, I just did summary. I didn't do what we call literature review. And what the summary mean? Summary means that you're just trying to summarize whatever you've read. Whatever author A has said, you're just, oh, author A found out that teacher training improves students' outcome. Mosa 2021 also found similar results. No, that's not literature review. It is what we call summarizing. What you are doing is just summarizing. But while synthesis means that you are trying to bridge in the gap, you are trying to bring in the articles you've read. And when we take a look at this now, we see this while Ocon 2020 and Mosa 2021 both highlight the positive impact of teacher training. Musa adds that the duration and content of training significantly influence outcomes, a nuance missing in Okon's study. This is just so clear because I'm just trying to find out, I'm trying to evaluate what I've read, I'm trying to put in analytical aspect. I'm trying to put in my analysis, my analytical skill into place. Like, okay, well, this particular A said this particular point says B. Then I'm trying now to bring it together by synthesizing everything that I have read together, highlighting the differences, highlighting their similarities, and also bringing in my own view about that particular study that I've read. So it's not by literature review is not just by listening, finding side by side. Oh, author A employed the use of qualitative analysis to research into this thing, blah 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 blah, and there is no meaningful connection in your study. It's just like blunt. So why here it just means that you just have to connect and compare findings because you have to do that in order for your research and your literature review to make sense, particularly your empirical review. You don't just need glue. You have to connect. What makes author A study so unique to your own study? What makes it? What contribution is it adding to your own study? What contribution has it added to the body of work or the body of scholarly work in your choosing field? So this is what makes the whole aspect to be uniquely different and all that. Now, then I have here more or mastering the review. You just have to identify patterns, relationship between studies. Some studies may be quite different, but one thing that may be different in them may be quite similar in terms of scope and all that now. But one thing that may separate them may be the population. I mentioned population gap while speaking about gaps the other time. Okay, author A conducted a study in Abeokuta, author B conducted another study in the northeastern part of Nigeria. Oh, some people will say, okay, well, the reason why I'm conducting this study in the northeastern part of Nigeria is just because there are so many factors in that area or so many variables. Let me employ the use of variables. And there are so many variables affecting get child education in northeastern part of Nigeria. Let's say now we have the issue of insecurity, insurgency, we have the issue of poverty too. We have the issue of governmental constraints. We have the issue of extreme atmospheric condition. We have the issue of maybe the issue of poverty, maybe not. We also maybe have it because the issue of the level of the literacy of the parents. So these factors are quite unique. These variables are quite. So it will definitely play a huge part in the findings of our study. So while the scope are related to the effect of this get child education palaver, then I know that okay, why then I will not be able to synthesize it by explaining the fact that these studies are relevant in this way, but they differ in terms of their population, they differ in terms of their scope, and then their findings at the end of the day, they are quite different as well. So this is what we mean by staying focused on your research question. You don't because each of the study that you are meant to review. I think that all of this website works, and I do not have any challenge with the network. I would have showed you how to use your heuristic for what we call mind mapping because you just have to mind map instead of you trying to the word of research is so much unique and so much beautiful these days that you can turn around a research article, a well graded and an advanced research article on time because the world has just been so advanced, so connected, so it has made everything so feasibly easier to do. So you have to stay focused on your research questions. Yes, you don't have to go outside your research questions, go outside your research objectives. You don't just say what they said. You add analytical insight, and I explain the aspect of analytical insights now. And for those of us that are also planning on securing or going outside the country for our grad school program, when it comes to skill you've acquired, you should be able to app on your analytical skill because if you happen to conduct your undergraduate thesis on your own or long essay or your master's dissertation on you, then one thing that you should be able to deduce from that point is your analysis, your analytical insights. Whatever study you've conducted, you should be able to shape in and sharpen your analytical insight. You just be able to look at it closely. What is missing? What should be added? Then when you have added up as contributed to, you've been able to refine your analytical insights. Your soft skill is a prerequisite here. So moving away from here, you also instead of just writing blandy, in English we call it the connector, so to say. So instead of just writing blandy and all that, what you need to do is just to okay, in contrast, in addition, does blah 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 and so on and so forth. Because of our time, moving on. Then structure of the review. Traditionally, in the Nigerian context, we have the structure of the review as chronological, how it has evolved over time. And most of the time, when you're conducting a study related to chronological, don't forget I said that your research papers or your scholarly sources must also be relevant. Except you are conducting a chronological review, that is what others have done in 1980s and how the research has progressed over time. Then it's expected of you to cite articles as far back as 90s, as far back as 1960s, depending on our field of study and all that. Then thematic, you're identifying based on your key topics, your research interest, your research area and all that. Then methodologically, you're emphasizing and you are reviewing literature based on the methodology employed. Scholar A employed quantitative research methodology, scholar B employed ex post facto research. Ex post facto is more or less like historical research. Scholar C employed qualitative research, and under qualitative research, scholar C employed the descriptive survey design. Scholar C employed the thematic analysis. Scholar D employed what we called a KI and key informant interview and interview, so to say. So all of these differ. So and because of that, it also affects the our findings too. So by the way, we just have to understand that whatever field that you are choosing, whatever structure that you are choosing, it is what is actually in tandem. Yes, it is what is peculiar to your unique field of study. I won't conduct a meta-analysis because meta-analysis statistical based when I'm working on something regarding my speed. Why? Because it's not relevant. So I won't waste my time in conducting that now. What I need to do is just to conduct possibly a chronological overview based on my theoretical framework that I'm employing, and also to employ the methodological and thematic in the empirical review section. Why? Just to know, okay, what have others done on this in times past and all that now. So moving away from here because of our time, and I just want to give us this particular overview. I want to us to take a look at this particular screen and to read this particular sentence. I will give us maybe 30 seconds to do that now. Read this sentence. So, Ali 2019 and Sikora 2020 both found that access to education improves gender equity. So, what is it? Is it a summary or is it a synthesis? We can respond using our chat. Because of our time, I don't want to delve into this and wait upon us for so long so as to up in the next 2 minutes because we are getting there. So, what do you think? Is this a summary or is this a synthesis? Now, okay, a summary, yes. A summary, a summary. Yes, it's a summary. It's a summary. It's a summary. All right, fantastic. So let's just move on away from here to pick up this just a summary. I won't be mentioning the other aspect, by the way. I won't be mentioning the other aspect of the exercise that we have here. So I will just want to move on at the first aspect. Now, funny tips and misconception about literature review. We are wrapping up. More pages. Some of us think that if you write more pages, uh, then our research review or whatever we've done actually makes sense by writing more pages by writing more. No, that is not it. I think there is actually I came across. I wouldn't know the title of that particular research now, but it's feed a PhD thesis that is not up to maybe between 30 pages or so. I've forgotten the title. If my research is if my network is better, I could make use of it. Dr. Philip, I don't know whether you've come across that particular PhD thesis before. Just 30 pages. I don't know if it's even up to that. Yeah, it's in the mathematical field. I don't know if you could help me to look at it from your end. Sha. It's
I
not
don't
more
think I've,
than 30 pages. Yeah, that PhD thesis is not more than 30 pages.
I don't think I've come
I don't know
across
whether you've
that.
seen it before.
I don't think I've come across that. I've not seen that thesis before.
So I don't know if you
You
could
can
help
share
me
it,
check that from your end.
you could share data and just because of the time.
Okay, okay. Because of my time. All right, then I will try to look at it then. Maybe later then for I will forward it to us and all. So yes, because of our time, let's just move on. So it doesn't mean that you just have to right. In fact, some of our feed in Nigeria, some of our universities say you have not written up to 250 pages, you've done nothing. I mean, you've not done anything. That's actually a lie. Quality over quantity emphasizes quality over quality. You need to emphasize it. You need to make sure that whatever you are pitching in is of quality work. Yeah, quality over quantity always. Then some of us think that Google is enough. No, Google is not enough. Like I mentioned earlier, you have to make use of academic databases, make use of Scopus Index, kind of top tier journal outlet in your chosen field, depending on your field. Yes, I will just quote everything. No, you don't need to quote. Oh, you don't just need to compare. You just need to analyze what is the relevant aspect of that particular work that you are bringing in. Then some of us that make use of Zotero. I don't know. Zotero is a referencing manager. So, or some of us may even think ChatGPT will write it for us. Well, we are not trying to build up our skill here because we are not trying to build up our skill. Let's just try to ensure that we understand. Even if we are going to make use of AI at the point in our research, let's just understand. Okay, this is what expected. This is the kind of quality of work that I'm expecting AI to turn out for me and all that. Now. Then it's actually a tool, not a miracle, by the way. My review needs to be poetic. No, your review, you are not writing Shakespearean text here, you are not writing Wole Soyinka style here. You just have to be clear. You just have to be visible. Whatever you are writing, you must make logical sense and all that now. Moving away from here, then common pitfalls to avoid when doing literature review. Number one, not defining your scope. You have to define your scope. Like I mentioned earlier, like the topic given to me, machine learning and cyber security and AI. No, that topic is too broad. You just have to narrow it down, bring it down to a specific scope. Reviewing irrelevant materials. No, I can't be working on gender studies and education and be reviewing work related to artificial intelligence and gender. No, they are not related. They may be related in an aspect, but no. You just have to know that okay, if you are doing too much, you should be able to caution yourself. Okay, no, I am going outside the context of my study. So for you to not waste your time and for you not to be reviewing texts that are not relevant to your study. Then, like I mentioned earlier, the third one here is relying on outdated studies. Outdated studies means studies that are except in real circumstances, like when you are conducting a chronological review now, then you can rely on outdated studies, that are studies that have been published in 1980s and all that now. But for your own good and for in order to make sure that your research turns out to be a quality one, ensure that whatever you are reviewing is between 5 at most 10 years. Overuse of direct quote. In fact, if you make use of direct quotation, and if you are submitting your paper to a top tiered journal outlet, then they will flag it like as plagiarism. Yes, they flag it. Turnitin will flag it. So you need to understand how to synthesize whatever you have read. You need to summarize it and synthesize it so that when your work is being submitted, it will come out as original, it will come out as top notch. It will further emphasize the quality of the work. He said no clear conclusion or thematic integration. So you are not concluding when you are just writing blandly. So no, these are the stuff that we need to avoid. So moving on away from here, these are some of my stuff related to my own field here: gender and society, gender, women in culture and society, African journal. But Google can help us with that. Just ensure that we search well. Okay, type your field of study into Google and type okay plus journal top or top tier journal in this particular field. Google will return it to you. So when you are reviewing, you should target your search area. You should target your database. When you are searching for literature articles to be reviewed or to be read, then you should target this particular area. Though I must admit that some of us, because most Nigerian universities, we do not have access to this online. Only few, by the way, we do not have access to these online databases and all that now. So what you need to do is some of us make use of what we call SkyHub. SkyHub. I believe that it's actually a common knowledge here that SkyHub will turn your research into another thing entirely. That requires. So this is SkyHub. This is kind of yes, you can make use of it when a particular research or a particular article is not in most circumstances by the way, or the most instances. If they are blocked due to paywall issue, you can use Skyhawk. Skyhawk is developed by a Russian programmer and all that now to ensure that information and knowledge is free for everybody. That's the purpose of it. So once you go on Google, copy the link of that particular article, paste it on Skyhawk will try to unlock it if it is on their database. If it is not, so apologies, you may need to find a way around that. Ha ha ha. Because sometimes God will help us. How can you be using the money that can use to buy a plot of land in Makoko or another place in your hometown to be paying for journal article and all? So yeah, because of our time, just moving on away from here now to another point. So we have how many sources should I review? This is just like depending on wherever we are or whatever we are doing at the moment. So, but then recommended. This is just like a primary level now. We should not rely on this. My master's dissertation, I'm currently on over 100 articles. Yeah, let me just put it that way now. So we this is more or less like a guide, depending on your university and depending on your lecturer to your supervisor. Then I think this should be a cause of discussion with our supervisor too, so as to know the number of articles we should review. Now, moving away from here, final thoughts: we should read actively, organize early. Then we should also go beyond description. We should synthesize. Don't just summarize. Synthesize whatever you've read. Master your structure and use tools. Yes, AI tools are available for your use. Don't be like oh, I want to be forming what's it called? Yeah, Bruce Lee of academia of your chosen field. Make use of AI wisely. Make use of all these tools, all these platforms that will guarantee you that okay, that will give you access to literature on time instead of wasting your precious time trying to read that on your own. Now, we've come to the end of it, by the way. So, if there are any other questions, thank you so much for having me tonight. I sincerely apologize once again for wasting our precious time. It was never my intention. So, I'll come to the end of the presentation. So, let's just welcome questions and answer. Over to you, Dr. Philip.
All right. Thank you so much for that presentation. I think the first question we have here, somebody is asking that can we have the slide of these lectures?
Oh, of course.
All right.
I will share it with I don't know. Will I share with you so that you can do justice to that, right? I think you have it
Yeah,
already.
you
Yes.
already sent it to me. Yeah, so I would
Yes,
work
yes,
on
yes.
that and make it available to everyone that might be interested. All right. I think here is the time for you to ask any question that you might have. I know there might be some things that you might want clarification on. Yes. Can we have the record of this presentation as well? Yes. It will be made available on our YouTube YouTube channel. I will try to share that to everyone that's registered uh for this workshop. All right. Any question based on the presentation today or some of the challenges you are having navigating your research writing world? What's the channel's name? That's a good question. Let me. uh, where can I read articles? Do you want to answer that, Abidemi?
Okay. I'm still trying to get the question. Can you read it, sir?
Where can I read articles?
Where can you read the articles? In what
Yeah.
sense?
Can you do justice
So,
to that
okay, where
question?
can I read articles? What is the channel? Where can I read article? Oh, this question, I don't know. What's your field of study? Let me answer by asking for your field of study or your research interest. Another one called do some yes. Okay, agricultural engineering. I'm not in the engineering field, but I think I will pass this question to you, so you can you can dive
Yeah.
into that. I will pass the question to you.
I think the same across discipline where you can read article is the same for all discipline. So it still follows the same structure you talk about. You can read article from you can read articles from Google Scholar. We have different database, scientific database. Google Scholar is one of them. You can read articles from Scopus. PubMed is one. I just stick to Google Scholar and at times maybe Scopus. I really use Scopus. And then that might be what I'm about to say might be not all universities in Nigeria might have that luxury if they have it at all, which is your university library also subscribes to some of these things. But in Nigeria, that's not the case for most universities. So when you talk about SciUp is a platform that can help you to also get some papers that probably when you try to use Google Scholar and you see that they're asking you to pay before you can get a paper. So what you can do is copy that same paper, go to SciHub, and see if you can download it for free. So you can stick to Google Scholar. try to use Scopus. There are some paper that I think there are some contract that publishing companies and the universities are signing in different parts of the world right now that they are trying to make research publication to be free for everyone. But not all papers are also within that category of contract that they have. So you might be lucky that some of the paper you want to read might fall into that category. So try use Google Scholar, and if your university has a university library like online library, there might be some papers there that they also have. And at times when you go to ResearchGate, if you really want to build a career in when it comes to writing research or research writing, conducting research at all, try to have that Google Scholar, especially once you know that you have one or two publications, that's when it will be easy. But ResearchGate also has that option where you can read some paper articles. For some of the paper that are not free on ResearchGate, there's a way you can contact the author. Some of them might be nice and send it to you. At times it's not really allowed, but they are not getting any money by not sending it to you in the first place too, because the publishing company that is getting the money. So in summary, ResearchGate, Google Scholar, Scopus, PubMed, and other tools are you can read some of these things from there. And Google can also help you if you use some of the strategy that is discussed. If you know how to do it, Google when you go through Google Scholar, it can lead you to some journal articles. I mean, when you type on Google Chrome, not Google Scholar now, it can lead you to some research article, and then from there you take it from there. So I hope that answers your question. All right,
Yes,
that's
sir.
enough.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. Observe, you gave us
All
Nigeria
right, I want
style.
to ask.
You want to add more?
So I believe that if you have access to a particular article, and one key thing you should also pay attention to is referencing section. Take a look at the reference section, and you find stuff there that will be helpful in review when you want to review other story related to it now. A reference
Hmm.
section particularly, take a look at it. Yeah, you find access to, in order not to waste your time, this is the particular tool that I'm looking out for. Once you have the DUI, you can make use of the SkyUp and to bring out a well informed article for you. So that's that on that.
All right. I observed that you gave us Nigerian style of literature review. Is it internationally accepted? What makes it different from others?
All right, thank you so much for the question, Omori Pamela. Yeah, the Nigerian style rather of literature review. I wouldn't know because I don't study. I've not studied outside the country, so my educational background has been in Nigeria, so I know. But one of the things that I also, because definitely when conducting research and during the course of my research experience too with faculties, you just have to ensure that you make use of studies written outside the scope of Nigeria in whatever you are writing on. So one of the things that I found is that they are quite similar to Nigeria, though not totally similar, because for some universities they may be like their chapters may be up to 10. Then they can use for their literature review, they can do that in some make use of 3 chapters for their literature review. Some make use of just like maybe the Nigerian format, chapter 1 for background, chapter 2 for literature review. But one thing that is uniquely common to all is that it follows this same structure, this same format. It happens to travel outside the country for your education, maybe the US or so. One thing is just to follow the institutional style. The University of Ibadan itself has its own institutional style. My university that I attended for my undergraduate program, and then the university I'm currently in for my master's dissertation, for my master's rather, also has its own institutional style. There's a unique institutional style. If you're bringing in another style different from that, they will reject it. So, but one thing that is common to all these universities, whether in Nigeria, whether outside the country, is that it follows the whole same process, whether from South Africa to Sudan, from the United States of America to Uruguay. One thing that is common from Canada to Chad, one thing that is common is that literature review is literature review. It just depends on the style. Some universities can say, okay, we'll break down your research literature review into 4, make use of conceptual review, empirical review, summary of gas and theoretical framework. Some can say no, don't break it down like that. Just break it down into two. Yeah, tell us theoretical framework. Just break it down into empirical review. Some can say conceptual review. No. So it depends on the university. But Nigerian style is unique to Nigeria. But whatever you are doing in Nigerian style is also common to what is obtainable outside the country. One thing that is a key takeaway is that just master the style. Ensure that you know the literature review. Then whether you are in Uruguay or you are in United States of America, you are in Canada or you are in Chad, once you've mastered the structure or once you master the style, then it won't be a difficult task for you to switch to whatever style your university is adopting. I don't know whether we've answered that question. Yes, over to you, Dr. Philip.
Yeah, I think you answered the question. Yeah, learn the strategy. When you are very good with the strategy, you can always switch to different type of style. And like he said, there are some styles of literature review that is probably more into people that are into social kind of research. But yeah, like conceptual review, is it bibliographic they call it? Where you're not just writing review, you're trying to use data. Maybe you go and use some tools to go and bring in some of the research that they have done over the years and analyzing keywords and all of that. So yeah, learn the style. They are applicable to some of the things they do here, if not all. But once you're very good with something, it will be easy to port into different style of writing. And another way for you to go about it is by the time you are reading journal article, you're not just reading what they are writing in Nigeria, right? So you will see different style of writing. And like for example, this Twitter screenshot that he added the other time, when you see that the person is trying to probably joke around, but the fact that I think the person is trying to make is that we have all these things. I think I was telling someone the other day that I can't remember the exact word, but similar to this that what makes you become a better writer is that you need to learn from what other people are writing, right? How is this person doing it? How is this person writing his own? Bring it together and try to write your own. I mean, you're bringing it to two or three people's way of writing things to form your own way of writing things, right? So I think that answers that question during because of the time. Is Bidemi still with us? Abidemi.
Yes, I'm with you. Yes,
Okay.
I'm here. I'm here.
I think I will stop talking now. These questions are for you, not for me. Also, or else we will not leave this place today.
All right then. Okay.
Oh yeah, there is
Yes,
another question. Yeah, that's answer. What
I
makes it different for other? I think you answered that. I will kindly appreciate it if you can help explain a bit on how to mind
use
map.
him.
I,
Okay. This
I,
one
I
informed
can't
me.
hear. I can't hear you. Oh, I think he's having issue with his internet. To detect plagiarism, they are not free. I think I can answer that. Judah Akintayo, I think when we have our speaker back online, we answer your question. But for question on, can you recommend any app that you can use to detect plagiarism and AI written articles? For you to get a reliable app that can check that, they are not free. And the best in the market right now are Authenticate is one. And we also have Turnitin. I think that answered that. Let me see other question I can answer. This is comprehensive. Thank you for the presentation. Thank you. Now I know that synthetic analysis is the key and quality over quantity makes the difference, especially when strategically crafted in your own words to avoid being flagged. This to me is the key. Thank you for Kevin for reiterating that. Yes, I can say synthesizing is the key because when you use Turnitin, If you just copy it verbatim from the journal and you paste it in your own word, if you submit it to a journal paper and they run a reference check on it, the way the reference check work is that if you have copied it, it will just highlight everything as plagiarism. So when they are doing the percentage plagiarism at the end of the day, it will show. So if it's more than maybe 20%, I think depending on the journal, they can flag it and they will tell you that your work is not there's no novelty in your work or something like that, and they will return it back or reject it. They won't go ahead in reviewing your paper, not to talk of considering it for publication. So yes, synthesizing. Don't copy verbatim and put it there. Synthesize and put it down in your own word when you read papers. Yes, welcome back, Abidemi. There's a question for you here that I couldn't answer. Uh, I would kindly appreciate if you can explain a bit on how to mind map with those tools you recommended to maximize time. That's it.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Philip. Mr. Judah Kintayo, yes. I'm so sorry for that. I would have loved to give a practical demonstration of how to use the tools that I shared, but because of my network, in fact, it's just a shock that I've not, if you realize that I've just been logging out, coming in, logging out, coming in, coming out, just because of the network issue, the bandwidth is extremely low. However, if you still want me to explain more on how to use this, yes, my email is open. We can connect, and perhaps on any of the social media platform. This is my mail. I'm trying to send out here, so you can reach out to me. Then I can. If you want that to happen, yes, this is my mail. I've sent my mail to you, so I can put you through on how to make use of this particular. And then there are resources too regarding that I can share with you on how to maximize these tools. So,
I
but
think
I
that
sincerely apologize because I'm not able to make a practical demonstration. The
I
network here is
think
terrible tonight.
I think that works because I see that he has like three questions that are more practical questions. I would suggest that you connect, and possibly anyone that is also interested in this practical side can also connect with you and you meet with them all at once or so. I think that's what I would recommend. There's another question that's coming from him, which is I was trying to use up today using DOI, but it wasn't going through. Is there any particular approach or technique to it? I will appreciate that you really shed light on it. I think it will be more practical to do it together as well.
Yes, and then to just to add to that, doctor, and one thing that you should know is that it's not all articles that Skyhawk can access. Yeah, there are some that the paywalls are just so strong that paywall will there. Skyhawk will tell you that no, 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 bro, you can't just have access to this particular article. It's not on my database. That's actually the response you get. So it's possible that you eat the database and then the Skyhawk is just not able to access the articles you're trying to access. So sorry for that. There is no way around that than to pay the article. And the cost of these articles can range from getting you a parcel of land, yes, in your hometown. That's just so how it works. It's just so funny. But however, when you reach out, we can also try to take a look at it together. Yes. Doctor, over to you.
All right. I have been using mostly internet sources for my research work, especially for my literature review. I am afraid that there are limited journals on the topic. Is there an implication of this for my study, and is there a way out?
Mr. Joe Fago, okay, if you've been using internet sources for your research, of course, I don't know, but your study was definitely gotten from the internet. But I also want to suggest that I think you may need to pay sometimes we tend to say commodify the fact that in our respective institutions, you will be shocked at the level of access that our institutional library have to all these databases and others now. So, and then you will maybe also be shocked at the level of physical literature regarding our research. So, I want to suggest that first and foremost, you get down to your institution and ask for institutional affiliation to databases, to academic databases, most importantly, so as for you to understand that okay, then from there on, you can then try to search regarding that. And in addition to that, just to add to that, maybe you've tried that particular option. One thing you should also take note of is make use of all these AI generated, no, not the AI, don't let me call it AI generated, let me call it AI powered platforms, like AI powered search engines for your research. Because I know that there was a time that I was also taking a look at, I was also researching into a particular article that I completed just to present, and I've just been hitting deadline. Then I said, why am I even disturbing myself now? I have access to all these um, AI powered platforms, so let me just make use of it. And by the time I start head checking, I found out enormous amount of literature written on it. So it just depends on. For instance, I will highly recommend Elicit. It's what I make use of. It's just my go-to platform for this thing. So I will gladly recommend that you pick out and then try to rephrase or paraphrase the way you also search now. No, I mentioned the fact that you have to narrow it down closely, then expand it. So you'll be shocked. It may not be based on the geographical location may be quite different, but then you also be shocked at the level of or the number or amount of articles written regarding your chosen topic. So I believe that we should, and I believe that there is no implication for this particular story because you are getting it from internet. But then one thing that you should also pay attention is to the fact that um some journals, yes, they are what we call poaching. I don't know whether I got it correct. Yeah, there's actually a term for them, like a poaching journal kind of thing. Like they are just trying to poach your work, you pay to them and all that, and they don't really carry
Predatory?
substance. So what, sir?
Predatory journals?
Yes. Predatory journal, that's the word now. So these predatory journals now, if you find articles related published on them, they are not adding, yes, they are not adding to the quality of your work, so to say. So this is why it's highly recommended that one litmus way of getting our articles through all of these highly sought after journals and publishing platforms, just like Scopus, the likes of PubMed, and so on and so forth. So I believe that we should Taylor and Francis, yes, to Taylor and Francis, and so on and so forth. Yeah, they are highly recommended. And also look out for the journals in your specific field. If you're working on issues related to mass communication, just look at mass communication plus journal articles. I mean, journal articles. You find top tier journal articles, by the way. So when you find them out, then you can try to see, okay, the ones you can have access to, the one you cannot have access to. So try to use SkyUp to navigate your way around them so that you definitely get into it. Do you get that?
Okay.
So
Google,
another question now. Okay, you
I
have
think,
answered. All right.
yeah. Yeah, I said I won't talk again, but let's go to the next question. Writing analytical insights from review literature. I think that's the next. Writing analytical
Yes.
insights from review literatures. Is there assisted AI tools to achieve this?
Hmm. Okay. Well, Uh, I believe that one of the key qualities of a researcher is the ability to persevere. Yes, one of the core skill of the soft skills that you'll be able to imbibe or imbue as a researcher is the ability to persevere. So I must confess that I'm currently working on my master's dissertation. I, I know because I have access to all of these AI platforms. And the reason why this particular work is starting because at the rate that I want it to go, it's not going in line with that particular rate. It's just because I decided to make use of my own mind, my own brain in order to give a publish or a quality work. Now, it may not be as top notch as whatever AI powered platforms or AI powered tools we write, but at least I will okay, this is actually what I wrote. This is what I put down. This is what I did. This is how I navigate my way around it and all that. Now. So by doing that, and in fact, I believe that there are other a platform. I make use of it too. What's the title of this platform? What's the name? Quiboot, yes. And I know that there are other aspect powered platform to determine if a particular work is AI generated and all that. Why it will not be certain percentage. So don't do stop that in years to come, then you won't be proud of yourself. I don't know. This thing boils down to the aspect of morality. We can say, okay, well, of course they won't get to know and all that now. They're anti jealous, so to say. In that particular context and the particular light of it, maybe in years to come, you don't know where you find yourself and all that now. Then some of the articles you've published and all that now, then be subjected. yeah, technology is evolving, AI is evolving and all that, and you will be shocked that at the rate at which you are going on, maybe we'll be able to get to the part that okay, there is now a platform or a tool to determine whether a particular work was 100% written and will be 100% accurate. This is, for instance, Turnitin now can determine if a particular work has been copied or plagiarized and so on and so forth. So don't let us go into that particular aspect that in years to come, something of such will then happen, then it's not bring us down in whatever field that we are be placed into. So I want to advise that even if you do not get it well at the first trial, now writing is a consistent and a persistent effort, and particularly research writing. You just have to academic writing rather. You just have to keep going, keep going, keep going. My undergraduate thesis, I mean undergraduate longest year undergraduate thesis. Now, I when I take a look at it now, I'm not even proud of what I did there. I consider it as total rubbish. I was like, ah, shame not anymore cooking and that is but not the person who wrote this particular thing and all that. So I felt like, no, Bully Jamie, it can't be me. So I just want to say that keep trying, keep writing. It doesn't make sense to you. You get to the point where you don't need any AI. What I use AI for in most of my own studies is that aside from all of the undermentioned, I mean aforementioned uh importance of using AI now, what I do is just to correct error, grammatical checks. Yes, AI for my grammatical checks when I want to, in order to see, okay, this particular, and I don't make use of, I don't submit my works to ChatGPT to edit for me. I turn it into Google Docs. Then from Google Docs, I connected my Quiboat account and it synthesized it into my Google Docs so that when I'm editing, then I'll be able to see and spot errors on time. Then I set it into academic writing style so that I'll be able to know, okay, this particular thing should be flagged. It's not flagged. Sometimes my eyes may even overlook it and all that. So as to arrive at this thing. But I would highly recommend that you don't make use of AI tools to synthesize your literature review. You can make use of it for other functions, but to write, let the writing be in your own tone, let it be in your own voice, let it be your from your head knowledge. It may not be perfect at the initial stage, but I must assure you that with time you will get there. Yes. I don't know. I'm also not there. Like, I can only say that I've worked on several studies. Yes, let me just put it there with. I worked on PhD thesis. I worked as research assistant on PhD thesis. I wrote and all that. I contributed to those PhD thesis and all. Master's dissertations and so on and so forth like this. And have articles, blah 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 and stuff. But then one thing I say is that every day, anytime I pick up my pen to write, anytime I open my system, my writing skill keeps evolving. I've not gotten there yet. So it's on the time that by consistently using your own skill set, your own asset and all that, then you'll be able to arrive it one day. One day I will also get there. I'll be able to turn in top-notch articles, have articles in top-tier journals across the world. So that's actually my goal. So I want to encourage you not to use any of the AI. AI can do that. I must be sincere. ChatGPT with the correct prompts, we synthesize everything that you need to synthesize. But I want to encourage you not to do that. Let it be from your own end. I believe that I'm clear with that particular question, sir.
All right, I think that's the last question on the chat. So for some of you that requested for the YouTube channel,
Okay, and
I've
there
shared
is
the
one
link.
from.
And also, yeah, I'm sharing the link to the drive where you can download the slide for today. So I will try and also follow up with emails. I think somebody Itune is asking
Dr.
for,
Philip, there is a question. Can you help us share Quiboat link?
yeah, you can put it
Link.
on Google link.
Yeah, yes. Google extension actually. Just go to open your laptop. Go to Google
I think
extensions. Yes, just search for Quiboot. Yes. Once you search for Quiboot, yes, you will have
just for
access to it. Download
paraphrasing.
it. It is free to use at least.
It's for paraphrasing. It's not.
What do you say?
Don't. I mean, Quickbot is for paraphrasing. It don't
Yes, I
depend on
use it
anything.
to, the way I synthesized it actually. I synthesized it into my Google Docs. So as I can
Yeah,
use it for editing. I make
it's
use
a
of it for
good
editing purpose.
it's a good one, but it's not as powerful as ChatGPT. If you know how to
I don't
use
make use of
pro,
ChatGPT.
if you know how to use prompt on ChatGPT, it will do a better job. But
uh,
yeah, as you advise, stay as much as possible away from ChatGPT. The purpose of you doing master's thesis, doing PhD thesis, doing an undergraduate project or thesis is for you to develop this critical thinking skill. You are developing your writing skill, developing your critical thinking skill, and what AI is turning a majority of us into is becoming lazy when it comes to into developing those skills. It's a skill for you to be able to absorb data from about 200 journals and be able to synthesize it into one paragraph, one page, 15 pages journal. That's a skill that you need to learn. When you get into the workspace too, you have different data that you are playing with. At the end of the day, they just want you to come up with a summary, a synthesis of everything that you have. I'm employing you to come and work for me because I don't have the time to be looking at all those big, big files, but I'm employing you to be able to go into them, bring us insights for me to be able to probably make a business decision. So, as much as possible, you can use AI as your guide. I won't say that you should not know how to use it because the way the world of work is going, the future of work is going, if you don't know how to use it, it might be a problem, but don't depend on it for majority of the work you have to do. All right, is there any other questions for today? If
Yes,
none,
I have a question. I have a question.
please go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Philip, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you
Thank
doing?
you. I'm doing
Thank you.
so well too. So please, I have a question. Regarding writing literature review, most times, well, I'm also getting better at writing it because I'm in grad school. But I have a question. When writing literature review, what exactly do you look out for to get the point you need? Is it that you go straight, can you get the point from the summary, or from the abstract, or from the conclusion, or probably from findings, that you get what to extract from a particular paper? Or what do you look out for exactly? Or do you make sure you read the entirety of the paper, or how do you go about it? Because most times I tend to be confused most times, but sometimes I just read in between the lines because I don't have that so much time to read deeply. So that's what I'm asking. Like, what is the best way to extract the point you need from a particular paper? Do you get it from the abstract, findings, conclusion? So that's my question, please.
All right. Thank you for the question. Do you want to speak to that? Abdul? Oh, we just
Well, like I think I mentioned that during the course of the presentation that one litmus test in order to save our time because not all articles, not all publications are directly relevant to our study. So one of the litmus tests is take a look at the abstracts. If the abstract will contain virtually everything that you need to know, it's more or less like an overview of the work that you are reviewing or that you are reading. So the abstract will give you, okay, should I proceed with this particular stuff or should I just leave it at the abstract? So when you take a look at the abstract, depending on that, the abstract should not be more than maybe in 1 2 minutes time. You read the abstract, you at least have an overview of what you need to do. Then if the study is actually something related to your um, ongoing thesis or ongoing research, then you can take a look at the introduction, take a look at the methodological aspects, take a look at the discussion of findings, and take a look at the conclusion and recommendation. So by that, you'll be able to extract the juicy components of that particular article. Thank you.
all right. I think in addition to that, you can your search, initial search, which you mentioned, your what's the word now? Your key terms that you are searching for will help you to streamline what you get in terms of output from Google Scholar or any other database that you are using. And now, when you now have the list of journal paper that's kind of related to what you are doing, just like he said, you want to look at the abstract first because I don't want to waste my time reading the whole of the paper. And that's what I do. Look at the abstract. Is the abstract relevant to what I want? Good. I go to the conclusion. Look at the conclusion, especially if you are at the stage of trying to find a research gap for your project. I look at the abstract, I look at the conclusion. At times, people combine conclusion and future perspective or future outlook together. You look at what they highlighted as future outlook, you'll be able to see some things. Now, if you have established that this paper is not relevant to what you want to do, then probably you want to innovate when it comes to the methodological approach. That's when you now probably want to go into what their this thing is, their methodological approach is, and probably you want to see how you want to innovate around that. And at times, there are some people that might be difficult to see what their research question is all about, especially the novelty of the work. Most people, they don't emphasize the novelty of the work until the last paragraph of the introduction. So that you want to be sure that you are not solving what you are trying, or you are not solving the same problem that they have solved. So I think that's an approach that I've been using that work for me. Start from the abstract. If it's not relevant, I move on. If I establish that yes, I think I can do something with this, I try to look at the conclusion, and then if I see that it's making sense, I'm getting some idea, I can look at the methodological approach and then take some time on looking at the research and discussion and all of that. Yes, because yeah, like you said, we don't have the luxury of time to be reading the whole of 500 journal articles or whatever number of journal articles that you're looking at, but using some of those strategies, they are kind of helpful. In fact, you can summarize whatever you want in the abstract. A very good writer will put the novelty in the abstract as well, instead of trying to find it around at the end of the introduction. Is that helpful?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
All right. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you. I think we should bring this to
Yes,
the close to a close.
just before you go, because
Oh,
I heard you mention using AI, not using AI. So you also want to be careful with the use of AI because
yeah.
in grad school, once you are caught, there is no begging. No,
Mm-hmm.
it's either you face sparring and they dismiss the person. You also have to
Yes.
be very careful because I'm in grad school and most of that time in the US already, they always subject our assignment, our work to turning submission. So you want to be extremely careful. You don't want to be caught using AI because the moment you get caught, because there's a situation of a Nigerian in my school get caught. But luckily for the guy though, he left the school anyways before because they called him for panel. So he left the school. And after he
Mm.
left the school, he went to another school, transferred his service. But so you want to be very careful, please.
Yeah.
When using AI, make sure you are very careful, make sure you are smart. The thing
Yeah.
is smart, but you have to be smarter. You can
Yeah.
use it and then now you write it in your own words. There's no way they will. But they will now copy hook, line, sinker, my brother. You are setting up yourself. Oh, you are setting yourself up. Oh. And the moment they catch you, it's a big
Mm-hmm.
problem. That's what I'm not true. You can also sometimes I also get to use it, but the way I use it in my own way is that okay, probably um, once I have a topic I'm working on, I can just put the topic and say, okay, provide related papers that have been written on this topic. So it can give you like 10, 15, 20, but you also need to check. Sometimes the link it does provide might not be accurate, but once you have the topic, you can copy the topic and paste on Google Scholar. Once you paste it on Google Scholar, it will give you the exact paper and exactly. Sometimes you might not see it on Google Scholar, you can check with ResearchGate, or sometimes you can just paste the topic on Google and it will provide the paper out itself. So that's what I do sometimes because most times by the time you search Google Scholar, you might not get there's a or probably if you have a penny just provide similar papers on this topic for me. Like, can I give you series of papers? Then now left to you to go and see your findings, make sure it is accurate with the link. And then you can now start reading the paper as much as you can. That will also suffice. But above all, you have to be very careful because most times too, by the time you are submitting your paper to probably journal publishing organization, like they will ask you UPI, and even too, they might be
Mm.
very familiar because the people trying to proofread your
We lost you. Oh, I think we lost him. So I think a very good warning that he made on using the likes of ChatGPT or any AI tool, you have to be very careful. When I read some article or when I read some work, I can easily point out that yes, this person used ChatGPT or this person used any AI source. Because if you don't know what you are writing on your own and you're depending on AI, it will show. So don't give AI the power. You probably can use it as a tool, but you have to be smarter than it a bit for you to be able to use it. So that when people are reading your work, they will not be seeing AI terms. And like you said, plagiarism is a very big deal in academic writing. And that's why it's one of the important topic that we'll be considering at some point in this webinar series. So I think we should be bringing this to close. Now, a very big thank you to our guest speaker for today. Thank you for taking time to put the presentation together. And thank you for accepting to do this with us. And a big thank you to everyone that has been very patient with us since we started at 2, even despite the technical glitches. Some people are still here up to this time, more than 2 hours on this call now. And I do hope that you learned one or two things that you can apply into your research writing going forward. Yeah, this is a research writing series, and this is one of 5 that we are going to do. So next week we'll be talking about strong methodology, and we'll be having Ayomide Adeoye, who is a PhD candidate at the University of California, Merced. We'll be walking us through some of this, so you do not want to miss that as well. Next Saturday, same time on the same Zoom platform, we are going to be talking about that. So see you all again next week. And before then, enjoy the rest of your week. See you. Thank you.